Hello, hello, hello. You are here with Dave Jose on a hot Sunday in Buckeye, Arizona. It's not really hot, it's kind of warm. But I wanted to do a video for you guys today to show you something in the natural realm and help you to understand a deep concept in the spiritual realm. Now, I did go to my buddy's house and had some good food and enjoying myself, and one of their little guys were hanging out with us or whatever, and touched my face or whatever, had sparkles. So you got to excuse the sparkles on my face. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I wanted to drop a video for you guys talking about the timing of God. The timing of God. See, many times in our life, we want things to happen right now. We want things to happen the way that we want it to happen. But we fail to understand that God is wise. We fail to understand that God can see your problem today. He can see what you're going to deal with tomorrow. He can see around the corner 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 years in the future. He can see 100 years in the past, and he can also see the present at the same time. So God knows what's going on, and he knows what you need. Now, for me, I was working on a car, and as I was building the car, I was anxious, happy, excited to test the car. And I got the car all set up, checked all the bolts everywhere, made sure everything was tight, um, checked everything that I could physically see. And I started the car, got the car to run. I then checked the timing. And with the timing light, I set the timing to a certain degree. Timing is where your crank of the engine spins and the pistons go up and down. And then you have what's called a cam, which lets the valves, which lets air in and out the engine flow. Now, you have to have perfect timing between the pistons and the cam, right? The valves, in order to have the piston crush air and the valves open or close at the right time. So let me explain what can happen. So your engine goes in cycles, right? Just like your life can have cycles, ups, downs, valleys, you know? Well, your crank is spinning and the piston goes up one revolution, down, up, down, and all of the pistons have this sequence. Now, in a normal combustion gas engine, like in a car, it's going to be 4 cycles. So it's going to suck in air. It is going to compress the air when it goes back down. So when it opens up, the piston opens up from the top of the heads, is going to suck down and pull. The valve is going to open. It's going to pull air in. Then in the next revolution, is going to compress or crush the air. So it's going to squeeze it. Then your spark plug is going to ignite and it's going to go bang. The flame front is going to shoot across the piston and cause a type of explosion or expansion of air that slams the piston back down. So that force of pushing the piston back down is what gives you power and torque in a car. Then what's going to happen is the valves are going to open up again and the piston coming up is going to push the burned gases out. That is your exhaust. So some people say suck, squeeze, bang, blow. Now, as your cam is spinning and your distributor is spinning, your car is mechanically set with a chain to shoot, to keep that timing together. And then there's a distributor that is connected to the other side of the cam that is going to shoot electricity into the right cylinder at the right time based on a pivoting piece shooting electricity at different points of contact for each cylinder, right? So we got 8. So when you understand this, this is a lot of working parts that have to act in precision in order to have the most optimal effect. Now, the crazy thing is as a man, I cannot see inside of the timing cover to see what the chain is doing. So if I don't replace it once I get the car, it is highly likely on the older engine and very possible that the chain could be loose and slipping, the teeth could be breaking, the chain could be flexing, which lets just all you need is that much of a difference and it'll show up on a timing light. When you're trying to diagnose and check and see if your engine is working properly, it'll be jumping. Now, as you'll see on this engine, I had slop where the chain could go literally this far and it was coming up off the cam. So what that means is even though I could have fun in a turbo car and accelerate fast and it could be a joy and I could take it on a far trip, at any time the cam can spin and get out of sync with the crank and shut the car off immediately. Now, why is this important? The reason this is important is because, like I said, as a man, I want to drive the car. I want it to be finished. I want to have fun. I want it to be right. But the problem is that I can't see what's inside of the engine actively. So I can try to do the best that I can to make sure I have the spark plugs right. The distributor timing is right. I can try the best that I can to make sure that I got good spark plugs and oil in the car and gas in the car. But what happens on the inside of the car that I cannot see is in some ways beyond my control until I open it up, diagnose it, and make sure that it's right. Well, this is the good thing about God, because with God, we can't see what's happening in our future, and there's no way to open it up and diagnose what's coming in the future. The only thing we can do is pray to God, follow Him, give Him our plans, trust Him, commit our ways to Him, and let Him provide an increase. Let Him bless us in due season. See, if I had things my way, I could have the car together already, be accelerating, having fun at a track somewhere, and the car can make full power, and then it can advance timing where it makes crazy power and break the whole block in half, shoot the pistons through the bottom of the car. Oil could be everywhere. I could spin out and die. All because I did not diagnose what was on the inside. So God did me a favor by I tested the car, and when I took off and drove, the car would start to take off, and it was like do 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 poop 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 poop. It was pinging, meaning the timing was going too high, too fast, and the spark was exploding while the piston is trying to come up still, while it's way far down, is boom, and it's knocking it back, and so it's throwing everything off. The balance is off in the car. So I had to put the car up and work on it some more, and then I found what I'm going to show you guys with a loose chain. Now, what we got to understand, guys, is we can have situations in life like people say, Dave, why didn't you get your little guys back yet? I could have got my little guys back already at the wrong time. And then they could have forced that thing that they're forcing into people, and they could have died. The whole idea that we have to deal with this situation with mandates and a stolen November 3rd, I would have had no idea of how to fight using the law if this stuff didn't happen. When we look at the UAW and the airline workers fighting, and we look at the fact that we put them both on notice, and a short time later, along with some people did do a big lawsuit too. But a short time later, after we put them on notice, they're backing off. We got letters from the legislature in a certain state. We got letters from the UAW, United Auto Workers. And they saw where we actually taught them what the law was, which is a beautiful thing. But just imagine all the mandates that's been knocked down. Minnesota had mandates knocked down when we worked with Neil, just like 2 weeks after. The affidavit mamas in Arizona went after the mandates with the governor and the school boards and all this stuff, and things just went crazy fast. They went after the legislature. taught them. And we seen many blessings. But the truth is that none of this stuff could have happened if God did not allow for me to lose my little guys for the time that I had to lose them. And I know he's bringing them back. But I understand more and more how powerful God is. So let me show you guys some things about how good God is and his timing. Now I want you guys to see how powerful God is in Deuteronomy 7:22. We're going to look at the King James Bible. King James Bible. And the Lord thy God will put out those nations before thee by little and little. Thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beast of the field increase upon thee. Now I want you guys to understand what God is showing us here. God is so wise and powerful that he realizes that the enemies that sit there to preserve the land that he is going to give to his people are there with their days numbered. Now, God's people could be sitting there begging God, please, God, let us have their land. They're harming us. They're hurting us. They're destroying us. But God is so wise that he sees into the future and what would happen if he lets them destroy their enemies at once. See, God could let them destroy their enemies, but what would happen is the beast of the field would increase upon them and turn around and devour them. So imagine if there's lions and hippos and dangerous animals that don't come into the land area because it's occupied. But Israel is a small people, and they are concerned about their enemies, but don't even realize that if they take over their enemies and destroy them at once, that the animals would overtake them. Think about how powerful God is to understand and even think about that. See, another thing I want us to see is from the King James Bible, Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. Watch this. And let us not be weary in well doing. See, we got to stop there, because a lot of people come to me and they say, David, well, I haven't seen my victory yet. I've put these people on notice like I'm supposed to. I did affidavits like I'm supposed to. I haven't started teaching the people, but I'm tired. I'm tired, David. This is driving me crazy. I am weary. We got to learn, y'all, to be strong as a people. Watch what the scripture says. And let us not be weary in well doing. Don't get burned out and tired from doing good and the things you should do. Watch this. For in due season we shall reap if we faint not. See, we got to learn, guys, to be strong. Yes, we're going to go through some suffering. Yes, we're going to go through some pain. Sometimes it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. But the reward comes when we wait until the due season, because God knows what he's doing. And he did not say we may reap if we faint not. He said, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. Some of us have to learn that we have to up our strength, right? Up our heart, up our courage, up our game. Because we are weak, right? We are weak if we're fainting all the time. Sometimes we got to hold out just to be able to gain some strength. Sometimes you go into the gym and you work out because you want to gain strength. Guys, believe me, when you have a situation like me where you're building a car and you want to experience it and drive it, it is so much greater when you have went through all the trials and all the tribulations that come with putting together a car and checking things and finding out that something isn't right. And then you got to learn to fix it. You put your sweat, blood, and tears into it. And then you come out with something that is going to be good in the end. In the due season, you will reap if we faint not. Now, as I said, some of you come to me and you say about all that you suffer through and you're ready to give up. But at the same time, people say, well, Dave, I want to be the big dog. I've said this myself, y'all. I want to be the big dog. I want to be strong. I want to fight. I want to go after this. Well, here is the problem. Here is the problem. The scripture lets us know what we are. And if we find ourselves fainting when we go through something hard, watch what the scripture says. Proverbs 24:10. If thou, that's you, faint in the day of adversity, when stuff is going hard against you, thy strength is small. If you have adversity come against you and you faint when it comes, your strength is small. See, sometimes people wonder, they say, Dave, why are you so tough on people? Why are you going so hard? Why are you pushing people? Why won't you just let them lay down and fall and die and be weak? And David, why won't you just continuously comfort them for years and years and years? Because I understand that at some time, we're going to have to stand up and gain some strength and some faith and some hope and some courage, so that when the day of adversity comes, that we faint not. There's no reason to faint when you should be standing up and producing. God gets the glory when you stand and fight when things are tough. But nothing good happens. Nothing good happens when your strength is small. So I want y'all to see this. I was working in a car, and I actually test drove it and thought I was going to be able to take it out and get it all done. And something told me to check the timing. I saw the timing was off. Now, I'm going to explain to you a spiritual lesson about timing, but this chain is supposed to be on the teeth and tight, but you can see some of the teeth have broken off, and this thing is full of slop. And when I checked the timing, it was literally bouncing back and forth and not steady. That can actually cause your engine to blow up. So you could have twin turbo setup and it blow up because your timing is off. So I want to talk to you a little bit about God, his timing, and how he makes sure that everything is prepared and right when it's time for you to fight and be ready for the battle. Now, as you guys can see, that chain that controls the top part, the cam, was bouncing on one side. So the way that it spins and it has to grip, it was bouncing way out. And what it does is allow the cam to spin without the teeth grabbing, and the crank being able to free spin, which can slow down the cam, right? So your timing is now off. You're going to be exploding mixtures at the wrong time. The pistons are going to be fighting the ignition of the fuel and air that comes in. So even though you feed your car with the right things and you oil it right, when the timing is off and things are not meant to happen, you have a destructive process. Now, when it comes to God, we can see where God knows everything that's happening on the inside, on the outside, in the past, in the present, and the future at once. Your car and you are not that smart. And sometimes it even takes for someone outside of you to look inside of you, see what's going on, and do surgery on the inward parts. See, God, in the time of adversity and struggle and things that you've never seen before, when he's building you up, he will prune you or separate the bad things from you. Cut out the cancers in your life. Cut out the bad things and the bad people and the bad ideas in your life. Refine you. And just like I worked on the timing chain and the timing set, I am the one who has power over that car. God is the one who has power over me and my soul. And so we got to understand, I'm going to show you guys a picture or a video of what it looked like when I finally got that new timing set in, and how much difference it is between all that slop and a good tight fitted timing set. And you're going to realize that things are now a lot better where they could have been very bad. So with this, let me show you guys what the timing set looks like now. Okay, guys, so let me show you what the car ended up looking like with the new timing set. So here is the new one. I got to clean up all around here. What the heck is going on? Oh, all around here. And if you, all this, I got to clean up and redo it. But just look at the new timing chain set. So look at the teeth. There's all metal, no coat, nasty coating, nothing messed up. Look at how tight this one is. See that? Will not move, will not fall out of timing. Everything is going to stay on the teeth. It's not going to slip off like the one I had before slipped off all the way up to here. You guys saw it. And it was flopping all the way over. That's what happens, guys, when your timing is off. Now, just like I'm a man and I could not see inside of the cover that goes over here, God is not a man that he should be limited by material things. God created the heavens and the earth. God took nothing and made something. In the same way, God can take this that I'm struggling with. If this was my life, God could look inside of me and see if my heart is not working right, see if my courage is not right, see if my strength and my faith and my hope is not right. And he would know without having to open me up what I am like on the inside, right? And God knows my timing, or what timing is right. He knows my future. He knows where I'm going. He knows when I'm going to accelerate. He knows when I'm going to slow down. So when it comes to fixing things, as I can get in here and fix an issue and stop something from tearing up a car that is a situation of timing being off, in the same way, and even much better, God has the power to know what's happening in your life, to know what you're struggling through, to know if you're happy, to know if you're sad, to know where you need to be, who you need to be with, who's bad for you, who's good for you. He, my friend, can fix it. And so I want you to understand those things and give you this message. This message is yours. I love you guys. You guys stay out of trouble. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Peace.